Good morning, welcome. Thank you for tuning into the Halacha Torah Halacha review for Monday, February 22nd. A few more assorted additional laws to speak about with regard to Purim. Wearing Shabbat clothing. One should wear festive clothing, Shabbat clothing, holiday clothing on Purim just as you would on any other Yom Tov. It's proper to do that both for the night of Purim and for the day as well. The table in the house should be set on Purim, and the house should be in order as you would do in honor of Shabbat. So put a nice tablecloth and candles and all that. With regard to costumes, there's a custom to wear masks and costumes on Purim, with which we're all probably familiar. Some explain that this custom alludes to the nature of the Purim miracle itself, wherein the details of the story are actually miracles hidden within the disguise, if you will, of natural events. Wearing a costume to mask the identity of the person alludes to this idea. So there's a whole conversation here. I'll just summarize it for you. There is a difference of opinion with regard to men wearing women's clothing and vice versa. We do have a verse in the Torah that prohibits that, but some say that this rule doesn't apply on Purim because the purpose of wearing costumes on Purim is to illustrate the miracle, and it's all done in a celebratory fashion. Others say that, in fact, the guidelines remain in place. With regard to children, boys and girls under bar and bas mitzvah who would like to wear costumes of people of the opposite gender, there's also a difference of opinion. Even for those who do wear such costumes, we should not compromise modesty in any way. In other words, both young men and women, future Jewish adults in the community should conduct themselves in a way of modesty, which is the hallmark of the Jewish people. Work on Purim. Purim itself is not a holiday in the sense of Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Pesach, Shavuot, that we're prohibited to do work. So one can drive to deliver Shalach Manas, as we in fact do, to go and hear the Megillah, if that's possible. This year is a little bit complicated. One should not do any unnecessarily involved labor on Purim, construction, gardening, and so on. The sages tell us that one who works on Purim will not see blessing from that work that was done on Purim. This custom does not apply to work done on one's behalf by a non-Jew. So someone who has a store or a business that employs non-Jews is allowed to let them work on Purim. You don't need to close down as we do on Shabbat. Again, since it's a holiday from the rabbinic period in Judaism, like Hanukkah, the Torah doesn't prohibit work, so we are allowed to do malachas. We're allowed to spend money, go shopping, and so on. We are allowed to do work on Purim if we would experience a loss of money by not doing so. Additionally, it's permitted to work for the purpose of a mitzvah or for something that's needed for Purim itself. Furthermore, it's permitted to conduct business or other activities that don't require too much concentration, provided these don't occupy an extended period of time. So if you need to do 3 or 4 mouse clicks to execute a couple trades, don't worry about that. You're on solid ground doing that. Okay, a few more items, few more things to do. We will cover that tomorrow, and that will conclude our review of Purim laws, after which we'll begin right away with the laws of Pesach, which are additionally complex this year as as Pesach begins on Saturday night at the end of Shabbat. Okay, have a good day. Join us tomorrow. See you then.